Nitro is back at Edgewater Sports Park, and you gotta be there. It's the return of the DMP Awnings Nitro Chaos Series, June 20th and 21st. It's Run What You Brung Outlaw Nitro Racing. Don't miss Friday night qualifying under the light. And Saturday, these white knuckle racers play for keeps. Plus, see mind-blowing wheel standers, gassers, and more. Every ticket is a pit pass and kids 10 and under are free. Visit edgewaterrace.com and make your plans to be there.
Chaos.
Well, we are here for Chaos Live here on Wednesday night. Lee, it looks like you are at a good spot. Where are you, my friend?
Up here in Lafayette, Indiana, McKinney Corp, the official fabrication source of Chaos. And Murph's generous enough to allow me to use the shop as a great background. And oh, by the way, to you Chaos competitors there at Edgewater Sports Park for Thunder in the Park this very weekend, I'm going to be bringing some parts and pieces, some odd ones nonetheless, but you never know. It just might fit your combination, whether it's a front engine dragster, a fuel altered, or a funny car. So be on the lookout for this, bearded, redheaded dude, because I come towing with parts and pieces. You got to buy them, though.
And parts and pieces from McKinney, probably something you want to take a look at.
Absolutely.
Well, after the event up at Cordova Dragway, Lee, it was a 906-mile trek for me back home, and I don't think I was very smart to do it in one day, but I did it. And
wow.
and it may take me a week or two to recover from that deal, but boy, what a race we had up there! As the house was full, the performances were just rip-roaring, and we had 3 first-time winners, and we're going to get a chance to talk to a couple of them tonight. But fourth time to Cordova. They say the third time is a charm, but I'm not so sure that the fourth time wasn't the best charm that we've had at our experience at Cordova.
I absolutely agree, David. When we first went there in an exhibition capacity, even after Jets going rounds of eliminations in that event, it was a good show. But I think at that time, Cordova, with new ownership and beginning a new chapter of rejuvenation, we were a part of that. And it was a good show. It was a decent crowd. But every year, that Summer Nationals nameplate, that big event well before the World Series of drag racing that track is so well known for, continues to pick up steam and continues to pick up attendance. And I think we did have the best Summer Nationals at Cordova Dragway that we've had thus far. And it really makes you look forward to year 5 and what is possible at Cordova with Funny Car Chaos and the Summer Nationals being there. And yes, it's going to be good.
Oh, I agree. That is one of the most historic places that you can go anywhere not only in the country but in the world, and they continue to deliver. Dan Crownhart and his family have just continued to make improvements year after year, and the vibe. I was while you were doing the interviews at the top end of the racetrack after the final rounds, I was hearing Bobby Martin talk about how that event was just such a pleasure to be at, and of course he'd been out for a while, but to see the light in his eyes as he was definitely enjoying the experience made him just like the rest of us, because we are so intent on observing rule number 1 and having fun at our events, and sometimes you can take that for granted. And, you don't want to do that, but we also want to be mindful that having fun is what it's all about. And so, man, we were really having a good time there. Just the vibe. It was like at the end of the race, people were hanging around, and I was definitely hanging around, and we were talking with people, but that was just the vibe there. And it was so perfect. So to the Crown Hearts and all the staff that put this thing on at Cordova Dragway this year, man, it was just another level of excellence. And you come to expect that when you go there. And we were, we were very, very thrilled with what was going on. And I think the fans wound up having a good time too.
You said it well there, David. Absolutely agree. I don't always interview the runner-up on the top end. Bobby's story, coming back for the first time after having success since the last time he was in the car and going to the final round in a debut with Nitro Chaos, I thought it was worth it. I certainly prompted him to say what he did, but anyone can see it in the finals videos. He's like, man, this event was wonderful. This was great. And he had fun and enjoyed it. Everybody was welcoming. So I certainly think we'll see Bobby Martin again. He's not the only one that mentioned those type of elements concerning Funny Car Chaos and Cordova, the Summer Nationals. I bumped into Bobby and Bob Bodie. They experienced their first Funny Car Chaos ever, and they were beating around the pits and chatting with folks and talking with them very briefly. They were like, man, this is cool. We might have to consider bringing our hot rod to one of these things. And I said, yeah, it's a whole lot of fun, and you don't have to deal with, well, blank from blank over here.
Right. And it's so much fun. I was looking, we are now up to 215 drivers that have raced with their teams in Funny Car Chaos competition. We've added 6 new teams in 2025. And, we've made that comment over the years that I didn't know there were 200 funny cars. And we hit 200, a couple of years ago. And now we're up to 215. And the mix of people, you have a guy, an Indy winner, Bobby Martin, that comes, after being out for a while and comes and experiences that and gets his feet wet once again with a Funny Car Chaos event. You have the Bodies you're talking about. But you've also got brand new racers, Michaelan Haddock, and not a new racer, but new to Funny Car Chaos, John Broussard, and of course a couple of guys we're talking to tonight that got wins, Brian Lewis and Mike Minnik getting their first Funny Car Chaos win. Of course, Mike has already won in Nitro Chaos, but then you got Lee Lovell and Jamison Griffin running their first races, and Lee getting into the winner's circle after 2 final rounds this year. So it's a whole new world, and a bunch of teams are stepping it up to another level, and the excitement is there's plenty of it to go around. And I know that our longtime racers, we've seen them stepping up, and it's but the competition is fierce, and we do have our 2024 champion that remains on the top of the points sheet, but by 5 points, and it is a knockdown, drag-out deal, and while still being fun. And man, that Cordova event, Michael Neal was chiming in there just a moment ago that's become a marquee event, and that's absolutely the truth. You can't pull in the gate there and not realize that something special has happened here, like 60 times and 70 times. It's incredible, that place. And to have that identified as part of the Chaos brand, we love it. We really, really do. So, I could wax poetic for a long time about Cordova and about Funny Car Chaos. And I'm so glad that there are now several of those people that have moved from one class to the other. And what I mean is there's only 2 kinds of people in the world, those that love Funny Car Chaos and those that haven't been. Well, we got a bunch more that showed up at Cordova and just experienced the brand of magic that Chris Graves and this crew brings to the drag strip. And so we hope to see all those people again, and I feel confident that we're likely to do that. So we get a chance to talk to a guy coming up after our first break, a fellow that has won in Nitro Chaos competition. He has been to the final round in Funny Car Chaos competition. And it's one of those cars that people, they want to make sure if they get pulled up to race that crew, that they want to get those pictures because it carries an awful lot of history with it. And so one of the guys that closed the deal Now he had an asterisk by his name in the record books because he had won in Nitro Chaos, but not Funny Car Chaos. Now he's got both, and that, my friends, is some rarefied air. And so we're going to get a chance to chat with Mike Minnik of the Chi-Town Hustler, and we're going to talk with him when we come back from this break. So get your friends on the phone, send them a text, and let them know that Chaos Live is on the air. We got 2 great interviews coming your way. So like, share, invite people to come on, and come back right after this break with Mike Minnik.
Check out Twisted Shifters for the largest selection of made in the USA custom shift knobs and adapters. Made for muscle cars, old and new, hot rods to race cars, and for the big rigs. With our original shift toppers adapter for the air shifters to use any threaded shift knob like the old days. Add custom lettering and logos to make it your own custom shift knob. TwistedShifters.com. We are made in America and we ship worldwide. What can 360 Steel do for you? We make custom steel products made right here in Illinois. Fire pits of all kinds, knockdown styles to take along anywhere. Hold your drinks high with our drink stands while throwing horseshoes or bags. We have a complete line of military to firefighter signs, flags, hats, stickers, and more, along with many styles of decor. Welcome signs and custom clocks to a number of different monograms and signs. Personalized, custom options for your perfect sign. Bare steel or powder coated to last indoors and outdoors. 360steel.com. Spell it out. 360steel.com.
And we are back, and we have got the man himself, Mike Minnik. Brother, it is good to see you again. It was good to see you at the races, and what an exciting final round that was, in more ways than one. But congratulations on the win, and welcome to Chaos Live.
Awesome. Appreciate it, David. Glad to be here. It was a good weekend for us, good weekend for the team. Obviously, Cordova is a track that is pretty special to, the entire team and my family. Have been going there for several decades. So made it a little bit more special to be able to win there for sure.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's one of those, when you put your name on the list of people who have won at Cordova, and you start looking at people, in your family and in the Chi-Town Hustler and all of the legends of the sport that have won there, it's pretty darn cool. When do you remember the first time being at Cordova?
I was probably, the first time I can remember, I was probably 5 or 6, but that's probably wasn't the first time I was there, though. It's probably just the first time I remember. But that was back when there were Armco guardrails and the pits weren't paved, and pretty much the only piece of pavement on the property was the drag strip. Everything else was grass and dirt. So I can remember going there every summer, though. We always, if we weren't racing in the World Series, we went there just to watch and hang out with our friends. I'm 39 years old. There's probably not more than 2 or 3 years in my life where I haven't stepped foot on that property at least once.
Yeah. Wow. That really drives the point home about what hallowed ground that is. And now, seeing your family race there, with the funny car through the years, I guess it was your granddad that was doing it most of those early years.
In the early years, yeah, he drove from the car's inception in '67. He stepped out of the seat in 1970. Is when he decided he wanted to not necessarily disassociate himself from the car, because he was still involved with it for as long as it ran, but he'd made the decision that he didn't want to drive anymore. And that's when we kind of had a rotating cast of characters to drive the car. Ron Colson, Claire Sanders, Russell Long, Pete Williams, Frank Hawley, and then eventually my dad, who was the last driver before we took a little bit of a hiatus through the 90s and the early 2000s when we weren't campaigning anything. So it's been a mix of cars, but I know, again, my dad has driven there. My grandfather has driven there. Both of them were actually successful. Both of them had won races there. So now at least they can't hold that over my head anymore, since now I have a race win at the track under my belt too.
Oh, that's great. So the third generation of Minick with the trophy from Cordova Dragway. Well, that is outstanding. Now, I'm considerably older than you, and I grew up reading the magazines. I never got anywhere outside of too far to the drag strip that was 60 miles from my house. And but I would read about Gary, Indiana, US 30, and Union Grove, and there were just so many tracks in the Chicagoland area that was a hotbed for not only match races, but those independent events where they would bring in a lot of cars like Funny Car Chaos does. And that may have been before your time, or did you get to see some of that?
No, unfortunately, a lot of that stuff was before my time. US 30 actually closed the year before I was born. It closed in 1985. So a lot of those tracks that were in the area, and some of them are still around. Obviously, Great Lakes Dragway is still running. Byron is still running. Even US 131 up in Martin is only 2.5 hours away from us. It's basically the same distance as Cordova is from us. Some of them are still there, and luckily I've gotten a chance to race at a lot of them. Byron, which was one of the tracks that car's probably gone down the track more at than anywhere else. That was actually the first place I ever hit the throttle in a fuel car, was at Byron. It's also the first place that I had my first round of competition too. So it's been nice. Some of those tracks are still around, and we've gotten to race at some of the same facilities that that the car ran on when it was kind of in its heyday. So that's definitely been cool.
Yeah, it has. I think the first time that I ever got to see the Chi-Town Hustler in person was at Amarillo when the IHRA was running their World Nationals there, 74, 75, 76, and I think 77. And, it's just one of those things. It's iconic now, but it's kind of just like what you grow up with. It's, it's who you are. So maybe, I don't know, is some of that lost on you, or do you carry that weight with you?
You can get lost on it sometimes because you just don't think about it, but it never fails. Every race we go to, it doesn't matter where we are in the country. It could be a track that we've never been to before. Somebody's going to come up and tell us, I remember seeing this car in 1982 at this event, and this guy was driving it. Never fails. I get it. We get it everywhere, and we love it. We encourage it. We love hearing the stories. So when you get people coming up and telling you, I watched this car 50 years ago or 45 years ago, whatever it was, it kind of recenters you, brings you back, and lets you know that you're part of something special.
Yeah. One of the fun things about your car is you get the opportunity to run both Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos, and you have done both. And I was looking at the your schedule that you're running this year, and we just ran Cordova, and you're on our schedule, or we're on yours, several times the rest of the season. And of course, for those of us in Chaos Nation, that's like, all right, bring it on. So we're going to see you at Byron and Great Lakes. Did I also see Havana in a Nitro Chaos? I don't remember exactly how many you are. Yeah,
Havana was a maybe. The reason for that is it's obviously at the end of the year, and it's the week after the event at Great Lakes, and back-to-back races on our team are really hard to do. It's one of the reasons actually why we're not going to Edgewater this weekend, where the Nitro Chaos race is going to be. We sat down and talked about it at the beginning of the year and decided we needed to pick one or the other, because, like I said, back-to-back weekends on the equipment, and especially the crew. We all have 9-to-5 jobs. We all, so if we got a race on a Friday, it means people are taking time off of work. It's just hard to do on back-to-back weeks. So Havana was always a maybe for us. If we go to Great Lakes, which we probably will, which we're planning on doing. That's why it's on our schedule. Probably won't see us in Havana, but never say never, right?
Yeah. Well, that's whenever we get to see you, that's a great thing. Now you've got a crew. Has this crew been with you a good while? That you guys seem to work extremely well together.
Well, two of the guys have the same last name as me, so that helps. My dad helps, and my brother is a huge help. My brother is actually he's a big show top fuel guy. He works for Krista Baldwin Racing, and he's worked for a few other people as well. So anytime it's an off weekend and he can come with us, he's a huge help, because he can do absolutely anything on the car that you need him to. Obviously, my dad's been doing this his entire life, so he can jump in and help wherever he wants. And you got myself. I do what I can, when I can, where I can. And then another one of our guys, Chubbs. We actually kind of roped him in because he just happens to live next door to where our shop is, and he came wandering over one day, and we put a wrench in his hand and never let him leave. And then the other guy is my Uncle Bill. So again, a lot of family involved. Even the people that we're not really related to the whole team is basically family. We enjoy being around each other, which makes everything easier. And it's basically been the same group of us since we started running this version of the car, which was in 2019. So we're in our 6th year now. We've got pretty good chemistry with each other. We all know our jobs. We all know who's doing what, so we don't have to be worried about tripping over each other, and we don't got to worry about whether or not something that needs to get done is getting done, because we've kind of developed that rhythm over the years.
Yeah, it's more fun that way. It's more fun that way, isn't it? And of course, that's the theme of Funny Car Chaos. Is rule number 1 is to have fun in your racing and experiencing the vibe of Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos. Is it? Are you guys having as much fun as the rest of us are?
100%. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing it. It's like I said, we've all got 9 to 5 jobs. This is our golf game. This is what we do to quote unquote unwind. So if you're not having fun doing it, there's no point in doing it, because we're certainly not doing it to make a fortune or anything like that. We're doing it to have fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, as long as it keeps being fun, we'll keep doing it. So
yeah.
And for sure, events like Chris and Tara and yourself, I know you're a part of it too, put on at the Funny Car Chaos races. It's really hard not to have fun, because everybody's friendly, everybody's rooting for each other. It's just a really, really positive atmosphere. Makes it easy to have a good time.
Good. Well, we certainly aim for that. And I see, I think, a baseball uniform behind you. Is that one of the things that you work in a little every now and then?
Every now and then, yeah. That's my autographed Mark Burley shirt. I'm a cursed White Sox fan, which White Sox fans are getting a little bit more notoriety now since the Pope has come out as a White Sox fan. So we at least got that going for us. It's one of the few things we've gotten in the last 5 years.
That was one of those things. Is like, really, a White Sox fan? That's that was so cool to have him come out and say, yeah, man, I'm a Sox fan. So that is great. So the fun factor of racing, and of course you guys do it at a high level, going very quick and very fast, and the header flames and all of the excitement that goes with that. Now you've got this car, and your owner allows you guys to race at a very high level.
Yeah.
On a limited basis.
Yeah. Our car owner, Larry and Mary Coglanese, they again, goes back to the family aspect of our team. They have been friends of my family since the 70s. Larry used to work on the car when he was younger. Previous iterations of it, he worked on the car a little bit when Frank Hawley was driving it. So again, he's been around the sport a long time, and he came to me a few years ago. He said, this was kind of a bucket list for him. He wanted to have a Nitro Funny car. My grandfather was still alive at the time, and we came to him and asked, is it okay if we call it the Chi-Town Hustler? We want to continue on the name, and he was okay with it. And so we got everything going there, and now we've got it up and running. And yeah, Larry and Mary give us absolutely everything we need for the car to be successful, to make sure that it's safe and reliable going down the track. And Larry's as involved in the car as any of the rest of us is. He goes to every race. She drives the truck and trailer. Him and I drive the truck and trailer together to and from every race. He's always involved with the setup of the car. He knows what's going on. We keep him in the loop. He's not just a here, I have this thing, you guys go take care of it. No, he's involved in the operation. Like I said, him and his wife Mary are best people. All I got to do is say, hey, maybe talk about it. Maybe we need something or anything like that. And if it's something we need, it's on its way the next morning. So can't do it without him. So we're really lucky to have him as part of our team.
Well, that is great, and we want to make sure that they know how much everybody in Chaos Nation appreciates the fact that they make that happen. In 2025, the schedule for Funny Car Chaos took a little geographic turn towards the Midwest, and because we've been way out west to Albuquerque, and we've been out to Nebraska and down south to Baton Rouge, and for somebody from the Midwest to really commit to run a lot of Funny Car Chaos races, it took a lot of financial commitment because that's a lot of diesel to get to those races. But we're enjoying this shift in 2025, and to give, some teams like yours, and of course there's a bunch of them in that part of the country, the opportunity to come to 1 or 2 or 3 events in Funny Car Chaos, and maybe catch the bug just a little bit. So, I hope that has been an influential part of you guys getting to run some more races with us, because we sure do like to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, logistically, some of the previous schedules have just been hard for us to manage, but we always said that, if they came within distance that we were comfortable traveling to, we would make it a point to go there. Obviously, we went to the race in US 131. That was the first time we ever went to a chaos race. We've been to Eddyville. Unfortunately, now the Eddyville event always falls on the same weekend as one of our booked in dates. So unfortunately, we haven't been able to make it there. But yeah, we saw that you guys were going to make a few stops in the Midwest this summer. We knew that we wanted to be a part of it. I love what Chris and Tara are doing with their events. I've known Chris for a long time. So always been a fan of what he's trying to do. Going all the way back to the first one that he ever put together down in Denton. So yeah, really like that we get to run a couple more of these events this year. They're always a lot of fun.
What else would you like for your fans and your ever-growing group of fans out in Chaos Nation to know about your team and racing in general? I don't know, maybe just life in general.
So I have to address all 4 of my fans. Okay. No, I just, when it comes to the fans, we just want you guys to know how appreciative we are, that you guys, spend your money to come out and watch us, try to put on a show for you guys. We can't do it. You can't do it without fan support. And like I said, we're lucky that we get a lot of it at every race wherever we go. So it's always welcome. Fans are always welcomed in our pit area. Like I said, we love hearing the stories. If you've got them, we like to hear them. So, keep sharing them with us, I guess is my best piece of advice. And yeah, so just want to say thank you to all of other people that support us. Like I said, my crew, my dad, my brother, Chubbs, Bill, Mary, and Larry, all of them guys. I mean, it's truly a team effort. These cars don't go down the racetrack because of one person. They go down the racetrack because of the group of people that put them together. So, we get help from other people too. Scott Graham, who is the crew chief for Krista Baldwin, he helps us out a ton. Even if he's another guy that I've known for a really long time, been around the sport a really long time. He's always, every time I text him to bother him, he's nice enough to answer me. To give me some feedback, give me some advice, kind of steer us in the right direction when we lose our way. Guys like Jake Sanders and Dom Lagana have helped us a ton over the years as well. So we got a lot of people to thank, and just know that we appreciate all the help, all the support we get. It's what keeps us going. So just want to say thank you to everybody.
Absolutely. Well, we want to say thank you to you for taking some time out of your schedule to come on, and we celebrate your victory with you. Now you've got a Nitro Chaos trophy and a Funny Car Chaos trophy, and you've got some more chaos races on your schedule in 2025. And maybe add to that trophy case. But we really, really appreciate you and your team for racing with us, and for all the joy that you bring to the fans when they come out and they get a chance to see, just like when I was a little kid, the chance to see that car and relive that experience of watching the legends race. Thank you so much for plugging in with us here tonight, and we'll see you at a race down the road.
All right. Thanks, David. Appreciate you having me.
You bet. All right, Mike Minnik has weighed in, and we are looking forward to seeing more of them in the 2025 season. And it is going to be a blast, as we have a good event scheduled at Byron and up at Great Lakes Dragaway. And I know that Jet Car George is already promoting the event, as well as a lot of other people up in that part of the country. And now we've got another race coming up in Cincinnati coming up this weekend. It's a Nitro Chaos event. And then we go back to back. It's back to back to back as our Funny Car Chaos race in Tulsa will be coming up, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But after the break, we're going to talk about one of those guys from the Tulsa area who's in his first season in a funny car and in Funny Car Chaos. and is doing great things already. So after this break, be sure to come back, and we're going to hear from the one and only Brian Lewis. Hang in there.
Driven Racing Oil's GP1 Nitro 70. Trusted by top engine builders, winning racers, and devoted horsepower enthusiasts across the world.
Can you hear me?
Driven takes legendary base oils, such as the ones from Brantford, Pennsylvania, which comprise our GP1 line. Then, we boost that superior base oil with state-of-the-art additive packages. Driven's GP1 Nitro 70 not only provides anti-wear protection, but can shield cylinders from washout and fuel dilution caused by methanol or nitro-based fuels. Learn more about Driven Racing Oil by following us on Facebook or Instagram at Driven Racing Oil, or shop now at drivenracingoil.com.
Hello?
He muted me. He just said that.
Okay.
Hey there.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Glad you're plugged in after a long, hard day at work. Welcome to Chaos Live, and congratulations on what is proving to be you got the beginnings of an epic season going, my friend.
Yeah, we're enjoying it. We're having a good time. It's been real relaxing, except for all the driving, of course, but it's been fun. Well, good.
We have, of course, the Lewis name is one that is not new to Funny Car Chaos, as the Attitude Adjuster back in 2019 was making some waves, and when I saw that you were putting a car together during the off season, and the more pictures came out, the more serious it looked. And when the color came out and you got that scheme on it that looks so good, it's like, myself and a lot of other people were like, man, this guy is coming for keeps. This is a beautiful car, and it's proven to be a very fast race car. What was the genesis for you deciding to go funny car racing?
I bought the car back in 2020. Decided to sell it. I was going to build a new Pro Mod instead, so we went ahead with the Pro Mod and built it. Shane Lawson came along. He bought the car. The car is the former Man of War car. When Shane decided to buy his current chassis from Bradshaw, I called him. Shane and I are best friends. We live 10 miles from each other. I bought the chassis. Sent it down to Copeland's Race Cars to have a 57 body put on it. Once we had the 57 body on it, we sent over to Jeff Pierce Race Car Tuning, had Jeff Pierce wire it for Fuel Tech, get it all plumbed, did a bunch of chassis modifications on it, lowered the motor in the chassis, moved the motor forward, raised the back of the car up, and so forth. Had Tom Conway build a new Brad Hemi for it. Now it's got a Noonan in it with a C rotor, and here we are.
Man, that is quite the evolution of a race car, and it's proven to be very fast. Now, you dropped some names there, one of them being Tom Conway. So if you got some Tom Conway power, and of course we've got another example of that in the Nitro Chaos world, as with the Scrap Bucket team from last year. But you've got quite the team, both actually working for you with you at the races, and helping to put this beast together. So no wonder you are off to such a great start.
I learned a long time ago, doesn't matter how much money you have or how good the parts are you have, if you don't have the people behind you that know what they're doing with it, it means nothing. And I'm fortunate to have Conway build my motors. He lives 4 miles from me. Since I started racing cars in 2017, my first car was a 67 Camaro Pro Mod with a C rotor on it. Then we went to a 41 Willys, and now we got the funny car. And from that point, Jeff Pierce has wired the cars, plumbed the cars for Fuel Tech. Jeff Holloway does all the fabrication on them. And I've got a great crew that stands by me at the race shop and at the racetrack.
Well, no doubt about that. Now, the Lewis name in Tulsa is synonymous with all things automotive, and with quite a few things racing. And so I don't know if it's genetic, if it's in the blood, but you guys, that Lewis group, you guys have definitely got a great reputation for fast cars and great work. What do you do in the world of making a living during the week?
I sling trailers for a living, sell trailers, do part sales and service.
Okay, and is that That's the business you've operated for. Is that something new or for a long time?
About 10 years now. I was in the automotive service business from 1993 to 2016. Ran a full service reconditioning shop doing auto detailing, lube oil and filter, buff, wax, carpet shampoo, and so forth. Then somebody came to me in 2015 and wanted to buy it, and I told them it wasn't for sale, and they proved me wrong in February 2016, and here we are.
So then you went into the trailer business, and you're still building that business.
Yeah, we sold utility trailers and a few equipment trailers and so forth through the service center. And when they decided they wanted to buy it, that was part of the deal. That I got to keep my trailer business, and because they didn't want any part of it, and we've grown it from there. Before pre-COVID, we inventoried around 300 trailers. COVID has since put a dampening on trailer sales and slowed things down just a little bit. Not bad, but slowed it down. We do a lot of parts sales and service. We now inventory between 100 and 150 trailers. Just do what we can.
Yeah. Well, good. And the funny car operation, has this something that you were thinking of for a while? Because that wasn't people thought of you as a pro mod guy.
Well, from 1993 till 2017, I raced drag bikes. Started out on Katana 600 and kind of moved my way up. In 98 or 99, I went to a 990 super gas bike. 2000 went to an 890 bike. In 2002, went to an 820 bike. Then, somewhere around 2004 or 5, I started riding pro mod bikes, and we ended up racing alcohol turbo funny bikes starting in 2010. I went as quick as 649, 206 in the quarter mile. Eric Gross, which is on my crew now, him and I have raced motorcycles together from 1998 to 2017. In 2017, I sold the funny bike and decided to go pro mod racing. Well, in that time, Eric went over and helped Brandon with his pro mod, then worked through the funny car with him through Funny Car Chaos. Then Eric took about 3 years off, and he joined the team on the pro mod in 23. When I put the Camaro together in 2017, Richard Hall, which is the brother of Josh Wren, who does the bottom end on Gary Wheeler's Top Fuel Nostalgia front motor car. Josh called Richard and asked if he wanted to come work on a pro mod. Richard said, sure. So Richard has been with me since day one of running the cars. And when I got Richard, I also got his 12-year-old son at the time, Zeke. Zeke turned into be a great crew member, learned a lot. And in 23, I got Eric, and then I also got Enzo. Enzo is Eric's son, and he's a 14-year-old young man, acts like he's 30. You can ask him to do anything on the car. He knows how to do it. He doesn't complain. He doesn't groan. Nothing, So in this year, we had another crew member, Cody Slayton. Cody's our muscle. If it needs to be picked up and it's heavy, Cody does it. If it's light and needs to be done, Cody does it. Bottom line is we have a crew that doesn't complain and gets the job done. Of course, Eric's wife, Nicole, she's our team chaplain. She also is with RFC. She takes care of that. My wife, Courtney, Richard's wife, Tonia, they take care of the cooking, keeping the coach up, packing the parachutes, selling T-shirts, selling hoodies, giving out hero cards, and basically keeping all of us in line.
You have definitely got it lined out, and it shows. You've been to 3 races. You've been to the final round in 2 of those 3 races, and you've already collected your first Chaos trophy. Those unique designs out of Alan Meyer Enterprises.
They are cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. Tell me, one of the things that people ask when they hear the live stream or they hear the announcement or they see the car is, what's the story on Grumpy 2?
Well, my first pro mod was Problem Child. I've always kind of been the problem child of the family, I think. I've always caused the most trouble with it between us kids. But then we named the pro mod Willie's Grumpy. It was just Grumpy. That thing had a mind of its own, but she was wicked fast and she was fun. And my wife named her Sue, so she was Grumpy Sue. So when I decided to sell, I had a 53 Studebaker that actually was built for Richard, my crew guy. And we decided to do something different. Then we sold it. Then we sold Grumpy, the Willies. And I wanted to keep the Grumpy name going. So we named the funny car Grumpy 2, and that's actually Grumpy Linda. So listen here, Linda. That's what my wife calls her. Listen here, Linda. So that's where Grumpy came from.
Okay. All right. The evolution from Problem Child to Grumpy 2. and car named Linda. All right, so that's everybody's got to have a name for the car.
Well, they got to have a girl's name. It just doesn't work. So she's Grumpy Linda.
Yeah. All right, that's a scoop for everybody out in Chaos Nation tonight. And if you ask Brian how Linda's doing, he'll know exactly who you're talking about. All right. So in the chase for the championship, I mean, you're in second place. You're behind another Tulsa area native that's practically your neighbor. You two guys are sitting on top of the points list. You guys are chasing the season championship in your first year.
Oh yeah, my goal. I hadn't made any full pulls to the start to the finish line in the car ever until we got to. I tried 4 hits in Tulsa. Couldn't see out of the car real well. Wasn't comfortable. Didn't like sitting in the center. Didn't like the butterfly steering wheel. So Jeff Holloway came over and we changed a few things. Jeff Pierce came and raised the front of the car up, changed a few things, put the Mustang body on it, got to Ennis. Q1 was my very first full pass in the car. I went 373 at 205 on the first hit. I was shooting for a 390. I was trying to get in the B field. It put us right in the A field. And here we are. We're just, I'm really enjoying the car. I've got 22 runs in it in a funny car total in my life. And so far it's been fun. It's been challenging.
Well, that's one of the things that people talk about the funny cars is they are a challenge, but you seem to have taken to it extremely well. Is there anything that translates from your past history, whether it be bikes, whether it be pro mods, whether it be something else? You told me you used to go around in circles at once upon a time.
Well, I didn't used to do it. I tried it I bought 2 micro cars, micro sprints. I thought, I'm going to try this. My brain is doing that now. I'm like, I'm going to try this. Rented the track on a Monday night, put about 25 laps on it, pulled in the infield because I was dizzy and my shoulders hurt. And I'm like, I don't know if I like this or not. Got back on the track, put 10 more laps on it, put it in the pits, checked it over, came out, did 25 more laps, put it away. My brother called me about 30 minutes after on the road. He goes, "What do you think?" And I told him, I said, I don't know. I don't know what to say. And he goes, how does the word dejected sound? And I said, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I feel dejected. And people who have, from sitting in the stands watching those micros run around, it gives them no justice of how fast they are, how loud they are, and how much work they are. They're running an 1/8 mile racetrack in second gear at 16,000 RPM, Nerf bar to Nerf bar, and it's a bunch of work. And it makes no sense to me to turn left or turn the car right to make it go left. It doesn't make any sense.
So that brother Brandon is building those cars now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he bought the body shop from my mom and dad back in October of 21. He recently sold it March of this year. And the chassis he's ran is a Sawyer chassis, been around since 1958. And when he bought it in March, and he's building them now, and he's racing what he builds, and he's doing real well at it.
Well, it seems like the whole family has jumped into that too.
Oh yeah, Brandon's got 4 personal cars for himself. My oldest nephew Braden has a restrictor car. My 2 little nephews, Braden and Brody, have junior sprints. And now Brandon, we're actually going to go out Saturday night and watch him. He's actually bought a couple midgets like that race at the Chili Bowl. So he's going to run the midget this weekend.
Wow. So that's kind of what I was alluding to at the first is all things automotive, all things racing in and around Tulsa. There's a Lewis name attached to it in one form or another. It has been for decades from your dad and with his Red Rocket. And of course there's a whole lineage of those cars.
Oh yeah. He started back in the 70s racing a 39 Ford. My grandpa Miller, my mom's dad owned, and actually I own the car now. It was called Rat Fever. It ran at Orange County and Lyons back in the 70s. And Dad moved back here in the early 80s and took off about 10 years. And in 1988, he built a 61 Ford unibody called the Ground Pounder. And it run like 1050s. And he ran it till, probably early to mid 90s and took off a couple years. He built his first pro mod in 98. We raced Super Chevy in the pro outlaw pro street or outlaw street class. And then he went to pro mod and he raced pro mod till 05. And that's when Brandon had an Alter that he raced when he was 16 until 2005. And I think 05 or 06, he got an alcohol funny car and raced that for a year and a half or two. Then Tom Conway tuned an A fuel car where Brandon won the championship in 09. They sold the A Fuel operation, went Pro Mod racing in from 10 to 2018. Then, as you well know, they built the Attitude Adjuster and raced Funny Car Chaos in 19. They sold that operation sometime in 20 or 21. They built another Pro Mod. Then, of course, Dad fell ill, and Dad couldn't go to the races like he wanted to and wasn't feeling good. And I don't think Brandon wanted to go racing without Dad because that's all he knew. And unfortunately, Dad passed away in September of 23. And Brandon started racing the dirt cars somewhere, I think, around summer of 22, if I remember right. And here we are.
Wow. And the book and the movie on the Lewis family involvement in racing should come out. And if it hadn't already been started, then somebody ought to do that because brother, your family has got quite the heritage. And that's one of the things that I see you doing is coming out and you guys don't go for participation trophies. It's about winning or not coming out.
Well, I want to be safe. That's being safe is our number one goal on our team. I don't care what we're doing. I don't care what it costs. Safety is number one. And I have Stroud safety behind me 100%. If I need it, they get it to me. Like Sunday, I ordered a Willie Barnett. They came in the mail today. After I broke a zipper in Eddyville, parachutes weren't coming out right. I shipped everything to them Wednesday after Eddyville. I had chutes and a fire suit back on Tuesday that week. Stroud safety is number one. And they know how important safety is to me. And safety is number one. Like I said, number two, I want to have fun. If I can't have fun, I'll sell all of this, go buy me a lake house and a big boat and go relax. The only problem with that is my wife said I'll be on the big boat relaxing, complaining that I'm not racing. So there's that. But I want to have fun. I want to be safe. I want to hang out with my friends at the racetrack. And to be honest, I was a little out coming to cut Funny Car Chaos because it was out of my element. Nobody I knew. I knew Shane and I knew Roger Eckhart that owns Lee Lavell's car. But I've met a lot of great people. I pit with Ronnie Giesland and Casey and Amy and in the Giesland family. And I pit with Shane and Justin Malott. Pit with them. I get to pit with the Neils. And of course, within 20 miles, we have Bob Alberti. We got Gary Wheeler's funny car, my funny car, Roger Eckhart's funny car. There's 5 or 6 of them right here. So having them at the track helps me have fun because it's somebody I can go talk to if I have a question, if I just need a familiar face to hang out with. So it's been really nice. And I have met some super cool people. And like after we won Saturday night, it was, I was kind of getting things put up and here come a beer and here come a drink and here come a shake and here come another beer. And, it was people I didn't know, had never met, congratulating us, and that's what I like about Funny Car Chaos. It's family and it's fun. And I used to race another series that was like that in the beginning. And I missed that series. I miss it terribly, but I'm really enjoying the Funny Car Chaos.
In the history of Funny Car Chaos, the state that has the most race wins is Oklahoma. And you just
funny.
Huh?
I said, how funny. I did not know that.
Yeah. There's most of the single state that has the most wins is Oklahoma. And in all those years, there has not been a Funny Car Chaos race in Oklahoma until Tulsa coming up here in a week and a half.
Yeah, we're trying to get it ready. We got home, we pulled the rear end out of it, third member axles, transmission, converter, bell housing. That motor's over at Conway's. It was due for rods, and apparently we broke a lifter in the final round we didn't know about, so it tore up a few parts. But the crew came over last night. The transmission serviced and back in. The converter's back in. The spare brand new motor's in it. Hopefully we'll pick up the motor that was in the car over the weekend. We'll pick it up Saturday and get it back in the trailer. I'm servicing the screw blower right now, changing the oil in it, going over all the injector fuel lines. So she should be 110% when she goes back together like she was for Eddyville and Cordova and Ennis.
All right. Well, I know that welcoming people to your hometown and to what I would imagine is your home track.
It is.
It is going to be a lot of fun. And I know that the Oklahoma delegation, I keep hearing about all these other funny cars that maybe we've never even seen before are also going to be showing up at Tulsa as I think we're qualifying 32. My only time that I've ever been to Tulsa was 2017. I announced the Nitro Nationals and I got the opportunity to do that. And that was when Tara won Funny Car driving John Hale's car, the car that eventually
Yes.
became the Attitude Adjuster.
Yep, I was in the stands when she was driving it that weekend.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so anyway, you have given us a whole lot to think about and a whole lot to talk about. And I tell you, if somebody wants to talk about anything that has to do with racing of just about any kind, I think Brian Lewis is your man. You can probably strike up a conversation because he's got a wealth of knowledge and experience in all different types of things, and they are getting it done in Funny Car Chaos competition in 2025. Buddy, congratulations. I appreciate you being with us tonight, and I've enjoyed the visit so much. Can't wait to see you guys in Tulsa for the race coming up in a week and a half.
Come on, we'll see you in a week, and we're going to have a good time and see if we can qualify well and go some rounds.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, Brian. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Lewis has made his first appearance on Funny Car Chaos Live, and he is celebrating a win, and we're celebrating with him as they had a very convincing performance up at Cordova Dragway, and after almost closing the deal, their first time out at the Funny Car Chaos Classic. And so they are a force with which to be reckoned, and we'll see them racing coming up in a week and a half. So we're going to go, before we go into our final segment, I'm going to let you hear from some more of our sponsors. We encourage you and invite you to support our sponsors and let them help you make your operation all that it should be. And so we'll be back right after this. And we are back with Chaos Live, as we have just had a couple of great interviews with some folks. And I don't know if you can see this, Lee, or not, but this is my buddy. And I wanted to bring him out to remind everybody of what we have going on with the Chaos Kids. Of course, we've made it a big point to have Chaos Kids, and want to say thanks to all those that are making special efforts to contribute to that, and Amy Smith for taking care of coordination of that at the racing events. But since day one, Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos have been about being a family-friendly place where you could bring your kids, you could bring your grandchildren, you could bring your grandparents, and it would be a place that you could have a good time. And we are seeing families come out and it really embrace and enjoy the fun factor that exists at Chaos Races, along with the incredible competition that we have got. We've just had it in spades this year, as the performances from our racers that have been with us a long time, right up to the racers that just started with us this year, has been outstanding in every single way. So there's something for everybody at Chaos, and we invite people to come on out and enjoy it and find out where they fit in. You get in where you fit in, and you can find a spot at Chaos, at Funny Car Chaos. You getting ready to go to Edgewater, I trust?
That's right, David. I plan on leaving out in the morning with some parts and pieces here from McKinney Corp, which is in Lafayette, Indiana, about an hour up the road on Interstate 65 from Indianapolis. So I think it's like 3.5 hours down to Cleves, Ohio, just outside of Cincinnati. They're at Edgewater Sports Park. So looking forward to it. Get down there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will miss seeing you and all the Nitro Chaos, all the Chaos delegation there, as I will be back in action at Tulsa. and hopefully the evolution of the live stream can continue, and maybe we'll get a chance to watch from wherever people happen to be this weekend. But if that happens, great, and if not, we'll just let everybody know we're working on that, and hopefully something that came about at Cordova could be something that allows us to bring more live stream throughout the season. Man, what a great year we've already got kicked off. We've got a chance to talk with some first-time winners, and we're going to be announcing some, the next Chaos live show coming up within the next few days, as we have a lot of racing with this back-to-back-to-back thing. There's almost more than we can do, and but we'll catch up, and we will celebrate the victories and the wins and the great times and all the fun being had out there in the world of Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos. And remember, when you come to the Chaos races, we want you to know that you fit in, and we appreciate you being there. So for all of us at Chaos Nation, whether you're heading to Nitro Chaos this weekend or you're going to be heading to Tulsa the weekend after that, we have got a lot of great racing for you this season, and a lot of great fellowship to be had. So we will anticipate getting a chance to see you, and yeah, I really do mean you, at one of our races. Come up and say hi, and be sure to bring some friends with you. Be sure and find that YouTube channel of Funny Car Chaos, and like, subscribe, and enjoy all those videos that Lee Craft has put together so well, and help us spread the good news of all things chaos. That's going to do it for our show here tonight. It's been my pleasure to be with you, and remember, be kind, be well, and be awesome. We'll see you at the Chaos.
Nitro is back at Edgewater Sports Park, and you gotta be there. It's the return of the DMP Awnings Nitro Chaos Series, June 20th and 21st. It's Run What You Brung Outlaw Nitro Racing. Don't miss Friday night qualifying under the light. And Saturday, these white knuckle racers play for keeps. Plus, see mind-blowing wheel standers, gassers, and more.
Every ticket is a Pit Pass and Kids 10 and under free.
Visit EdgewaterRace.com and make your plans to be there.